Hey guys, welcome back to the General's Workshop. My name is Joshua, and today I'm really excited to show you something truly special. A rustic farm-style bar that not only looks incredible, but guys, is also packed with hidden features. And the best part, if you've got a DIY can-do attitude, you can absolutely build this yourself. This project is all about combining style and function with a laminated butcher block top finished with a rich mahogany that adds to that perfect rustic charm. But this isn't just about good looks. It's about creating something with your own two hands, no matter your skill level. And just wait until you see the hidden features we've built in. Surprises that take this bar to the next level. So stick around because I'm about to show you how you can make this stunning piece yourself right in your own shop. Let's go ahead and grab the material that we're going to be utilizing and cutting. All right guys, for those of you that haven't seen my stage build, go ahead and check that out. If you go to my channel, it is an absolutely genius spot for concealing your wood until you actually need it. That will hold up to 15 different pieces of plywood. Now most everyone uses full sheets of these foam cores, but for me I've actually learned to chop them up, which makes them a lot more accessible, and honestly they're easier to store. So for me, I'll utilize that, multiple ones, as well as my Milwaukee track saw to kind of break down and get more of these pieces trimmed up and ready to go. As you can see, I'm bringing it up effortlessly with that DIY lift unit. I'll tell you what guys, if you've got a bad back or anything, please go and check out that video as well on the lift, the plywood lift that I did. And so I've actually got two different tracks. One is going to be the longer version, so I can actually rip full pieces of 4x8 plywood, whereas the other one will allow me to do cross-cutting if I'm going to be doing at least 48 inches or shorter. Now, as you can see, really, that's what we're doing. Look at those edges. Aren't those horrific? This is really the woodworker's version of trimming your split ends and getting those off there and kind of cleaning it up, getting things ready to receive as we get ready to go into the assembly portion of it next. Now guys, I want to touch on real briefly, I used to have the Craig track saw, and I recently upgraded to the Milwaukee for no other reason than I really wanted to go to the battery platform, because for my shop I really don't have a great power source located at the center, right? I don't have a post that's bringing down power. So to have this in battery operated is absolutely phenomenal, and I'll be real with you. This saw is so much more powerful than I feel like my Craig ACS or my Craig track saw. It has just been an absolute game changer. And I wanted to show off a little bit here guys, because I've recently redone how I keep my drills, and you can kind of see it here. If you guys have watched my previous video, you know that there's quite a bit of there's a little bit of a change going on here, and so I just love this new configuration. Allows me to highlight my tools. Why not, right? And this is just a flip switch that goes off and on. This is not an automated light switch. I have it turned on for your viewing pleasure. And so you guys, the hardest part about doing all of this stuff by yourself is the simple fact that you're by yourself, right? So you got to rely on a lot of different techniques to kind of stabilize. And you can see in that last part, I'd clamped it to the bench, and you'll see in a little bit here when I do some of the other components, specifically with some of the dividers, I'm going to be clamping to my fence on my saw stop. Now that I've got that kind of cleared out, I'm going to bring in the carcass, and now I'm going to do a dry fit. Again, keep in mind earlier I already went through most of the measurements, so I've got these dialed in. But as you know, sometimes when we write things down and how they actually compare to real life values, sometimes do change. So here I'm actually going to be now making the divider for that Milwaukee LED tower light that I've got. I'm going to be putting on that top piece, and here's where you're going to be recognizing where I take that and I actually clamp it down to the fence in the back. That just makes it so much more easier there, especially if you don't have a bench vise or a second pair of hands. And then I'll take it on over, and I'm going to be using some pocket screws in order to join these, and then eventually I'll be flipping it over and connecting it through the bottom, which you'll see in a little bit. So guys, now as I get ready to add my level holsters, if you will, I am paying attention to the bow in these. They've been sitting outside, so they do have a little bit of a bow in them. So I'm very specifically drilling these holes at specific spots. So one I'm going to be bringing in, and I'll show you in a second, once I apply it to the wall, there's actually quite a bit of a little gap. So I'm actually utilizing hole saws, and then go ahead and save those cores for a little bit later. Now you can see there I just had the screwdriver that shows that gapping. I'm now going to do a screw that will draw that in, kind of straightening this PVC pipe back out so that it's ready to receive the level. I'll pop that in, so I've got a 48 inch. Oh yeah, and we've got just a shorter one, and these are turning out fantastic. So here's where I'm going to be taking those cores that we drilled up from before, and I'm actually just putting them over just like a washer on a screw, and I'm going to utilize these to actually formulate some positive stops, if you will, for the back of these levels. And basically all I want to do is so that I can push them in and they'll stop at a very specific spot that makes them even and level and OCD compliant. So now I'm going to get ready and start prepping for the doors. Now this is actually going to be a 1/2 inch that I'm cutting. I did not have any more of the 3/4 inch plywood, so I'm going to be utilizing a 1/2 inch. And in order to fortify that, I'm going to be gluing and adding on the front rustic pieces, and I'll be gluing it to add some stability. Now what you're seeing me use here is I'm taking my T-square from Woodpeckers and I'm actually formulating some lines. I'm going to unload this thing and then I'm going to tip it upside down, and I've created some jigs for the below, but first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to screw in that initial divider that I did. We'll get that in, and then we're going to add these jigs to the bottom, and then I'll go ahead and add a middle section or a middle shelf, which not only serves as an actual shelf, but is actually going to serve to add a lot of stability to this rectangular box that I'm doing. And so you can't really see here, guys, sorry I messed up with the camera angle, but I did put 2 jigs down there, and then I'm putting this board on top of it, and then we're going to be screwing it in from the sides. Now this back component, you see that opening space. That's actually going to be where all of my home entertainment stuff is going to be going in, specifically the base, and I'm leaving that back end open so that it's not dampened by, of course, the board itself. And so again, now I'm just trimming off that back end or ripping the ends off of the doors. And then here you just see me get ready for my door hinges. Hey guys, do yourself a favor. If you do not have this Kreg hinge driller, this is a phenomenal tool that I'll tell you what, if you're new to this and you're wanting to get involved, this just takes so much of the anxiety away with it. I know that you can develop your own, but in my particular opinion, for someone who's brand new, this is an absolutely well worth it tool to buy specifically from Kreg's. And here you can see using a square just to line it up, or at least align it with the edge, just trying to get it perpendicular so you can get a good fit with those hinges. And now we're just going to do kind of a dry fit on the door, see how it fits, and it looks like it's good. When you're doing a project like this is a great opportunity to take that scrap wood that you're getting from all that lumber and do a couple of projects. Like for instance, over here on this workbench, you can see where I've added this expanded sheet, the expanded metal, and then added in these trim pieces, which actually came specifically from what we cut yesterday. And then also, I've also designed this out of just scrap. One, your tools are already out, especially if you're a weekend warrior, right? You're not having this stuff out all the time. You can utilize it and build things for things that just don't have a home yet. So take a look at this. So I've designed this to be something that's gonna go right on the side of my flip top, right? That has my thickness planer as well as my spindle sander and my belt sander. And I did this with pocket screws. So we're just gonna attach it in there. And then if you look at this piece here, it just fits right in top of it. Now I'm gonna actually have a component that holds this in, whether it be like just a chain that wraps around it that I can quickly undo with a hook, Or I might actually do one of these stealth mounts. Looks like the paint is all dry. Again, I'm not worried about having a super perfect coat, if you will, just because it's more of a background, right? Again, if you look at these, where these are gaps, it's all black. Well, that's a very light brown color. So you want to have it so that if you do have cracks, and inevitably with these other boards that I'm about to put on here, they're very rustic, they're very bent, which gives me that rustic flavor that I like. I want to have a darker background so it doesn't have light colors kind of creeping through. Now earlier, guys, I talked about my sound system, and here I'm going to be moving that out, and you're going to be seeing me putting in, that's the bass, and then I'm going to be putting in the receiver. It goes in that back little area there, and then I'll just run these lines through, and I'm going to be bringing them through the case itself, or through the carcass, if you will. Then you're going to see me here. I'm going to be drilling a hole, and I'm going to finally have that surround sound up, guys. I'm so excited about this particular part. Just a simple screw, pull that the wiring back through, and then I'll cinch that up later with some clamps and get that all organized. And here you can kind of see the right channel as well as the left channel. And so with this, you're going to notice I'm just going to get a basic idea on where to put them. And you notice I held up those popsicle sticks. I'm using 2 on either side just to kind of get a distance from the bottom, basically as a shim, if you will, to have it consistent from the base. Then I'm just going to start putting them up in a pattern that I think looks good. I got some of these pre-sorted, and then as we get to where I need to do some cuts, I'll certainly do that. And of course, I'm going to always work towards staggering the boards. And you can actually see this really fun pattern from this old lattice that was against the board when it was out in the weather, which it gives it kind of that diamond-like shape to it. And I love having the darker and the lighter colors next to each other. I actually think it looks really, really good. I'm enjoying this pattern. It was actually a nice little surprise. And one of the benefits of actually utilizing the plywood is that I can do short boards like this. Now, if I were to do the traditional 2x4 framing, I wouldn't be able to reach between the two, so there'd be large gaps. So I think that doing a plywood carcass allows me to do the nice paint pattern on the back, and then allows me to do as shorter boards as I really want to kind of create this old rustic farmhouse-like appeal to this bar. So now I'm just going to actually square up this front side here. I'm marking it. I'm going to do just a simple chalk line, and then I'm going to run the circular saw up this, kind of flatten that off, so then later on when I do my trim, that'll actually fit really nicely. In the next few weeks, I'm going to be diving into the final details. So I'll be showing you how to add the corner trim. We'll be doing and finishing off the bar, as well as we're going to be tackling this butcher block top made from nominal lumber that is so much less expensive than if you're going to buy it in the box stores. You guys aren't going to want to miss how this comes together, and I will be sure to show you all of the hidden spots at the very end of that next video. So don't miss out, you guys. And guys, if you can, go ahead and hit that like button. We sure would appreciate that, as well as hit that subscribe button. And I can't wait to see you guys for the next video when we go ahead and finish this bad boy up.